Debunking the Myths, Rereading as an Effective Study Technique by McCormick. Flashcards, study guides, highlighters, and a textbook. These are tools of the trade for any middle school study session. Highlight the important vocabulary words, reread their notes, and then the chapter. Now most students feel that they are ready for the test on Chapter 2, How Well Did Feudalism Establish Order in the Middle Ages? Except they aren't ready. They can provide a working definition of fief or vassal, but they don't understand the essential question, nor do they have any evidence to support it. Which leads to my question: is rereading an effective study technique to prepare for tests? In 1986, Bromage and Mayer looked at the quantitative and qualitative effects of repeated readings on learning. They hypothesized that repeated readings would increase retention, the quantitative effect, and increase structural or conceptual understanding of what is read, the qualitative effect. They found support for their quantitative hypothesis that repeated readings increase a reader's recall of material. Bromage and Mayer stated that the experiment did not fully explain qualitative changes with repeated readings. In other states of repeated readings, most benefits were found in memory and recall. How repeated readings increased comprehension was less clear. In 2003, Mark Carrier conducted a study on college students self-reporting about examination approaches. Rereading chapters was found to be the most common style of test preparation. In my informal observation of middle school students, I would agree that reading notes is their most popular style of studying. The struggle is breaking their habit of what they believe to be an effective type of studying. When presented with a failing grade on a test, they say that they didn't study hard enough. Students don't question the study technique. They assume that it is their fault that they didn't read their notes enough. One weakness of repeated readings can be connected to fluency effect. As students reread their notes or the textbook, they become overconfident in their ability to remember a fact or a date immediately. Students feel they know the content and no longer need to prepare. Rereading the textbook is a passive and repetitive task. Schmidt and Bjork challenged repetitive learning and found that repetitive practice can be ineffective. Varied practice, on the other hand, contributes to greater learning over time. At first, students might become frustrated by a slower rate of learning, but it will be more meaningful than repetitive practice. The question becomes, if students feel that rereading is their best option for test prep, and they are already predisposed to disliking testing, how do educators help them realize that testing actually improves learning? The Dunlowski article stated that more than 100 years of research has yielded several hundred experiments showing that practice testing enhances learning and retention. Practice testing is defined as low-stakes testing or testing that students can do independently. Students need to see the benefit. They have been studying one way for most of their elementary school years. It can be a hard habit to break. In 2006, Roediger and Carpike found that immediate testing after reading contributed to greater long-term retention instead of repeated studying. Studying has an effect in the immediate testing, but spaced testing after reading yields greater benefits on long-term learning. Practice testing can be a reasonable replacement for rereading. It takes similar amounts of time and training. Students can be encouraged to use flashcards or different types of note-taking. As educators, we can incorporate more practice testing into daily instruction and model practice testing as a study technique. Students need to be taught how to study. We prepare lessons, we teach, we tell the students there will be a test next week. The rest of the work is up to them. This is an area of teacher education that can be improved. If teachers understood that failing test grades can be a product of ineffective study techniques, and not necessarily a lack of studying on the part of the student, they would want to do what was necessary to improve their practice. As James Williams states, teachers need to look beyond what has always been done. They need the time to undertake effective, professional, on-the-job training that has been shown to be both reliable, rigorous, and effective. Looking forward to my next chapters. My plans will involve direct instruction of practice testing and study techniques. Note cards, exit slips, Cornell note-taking, and weekly quizzes will play a more prominent role in my classroom, and maybe next time students will demonstrate a greater understanding of the effects of the feudal system on the Middle Ages.